Cool. All right. All right, we're recording, so I don't know if you want to do the introduction.
Is this the part where you tell us not to say anything?
Yeah,
Because you don't know how to edit it.
Yeah, I don't know how to edit anything. So if if
Shane, man,
don't say anything you'll regret.
Hey, that just tells me Shane's a loyal watcher. I love
everyone.
Right,
I love it, man. We appreciate it, dude. What's up, YouTube? Y'all know what it is. This is the Grind Arm Wrestling channel, and guys, we have some powerhouse tanks on the channel today. The legend of the sport. If you are in arm wrestling and you don't know who Paul Walther is, wake up, for real. The guy has done, not only is he an amazing arm wrestler, the guy has done so much for the sport. Paul's actually one of the first, like what I would say famous, like elite arm wrestlers that invited me to a practice. And I was out there like 2 or 3 times and met amazing people, like guys who I'm still friends with today. And Paul, it's an honor to have you on the channel, man.
No, thanks. I appreciate it. I enjoy talking to you guys.
Yes, sir. And then on the other hand, we got another killer from South Carolina. Yeah, see, that's what the narrative we playing. Mr. Shane Owens, baby. What's up, man? From Carolina Chaos, Cat Silver's crew. What's up, big dog?
Hey, I'm just living life, man, trying to get like you.
Yeah, shoot. Hey, you going backwards then, baby? No, man. Guys, this is to me, by far, this is a pay-per-view worthy match, in my opinion, guys. Paul, everybody knows what you can do, man. Shane, everybody sees what you've done and how hungry you are and how fast you're coming back from 2 severe injuries. And yeah, there you are, 3. I forgot about the And I mean, personally, man, like I hold a personal like edge on your side. Like you're just one of those guys who have always reached out to me and kept me on the right track. I'll get random messages from Shane asking me if I'm doing what I need to do to become a better arm wrestler. And it's just stuff like that. Like the people that know me know that's the kind of stuff that I thrive off of. And I got guys like him and Ryan in my side. And like it's an honor to have you on, Shane, also, dude.
Hey, I'm glad to finally be on here. Y'all talk about me enough. I'm just glad to join into the conversation.
And to be honest with you, everybody that I talk to, man, they're always like, when you gonna get Shane on? When you gonna get Shane on? I'm like, I know we're gonna get, this is the perfect opportunity right here.
Yeah, I'm super excited too, man. Paul, I wanted to be like Paul ever since I met him. I think my second tournament, and he's always been a stand-up guy, great, gentle giant, I guess you could say. And Paul, you've always came up to me at tournaments and talked to me, and I've been to your house practice, and it was an honor meeting you, and even more of an honor to have you on here. And always been a big fan too. So Shane, I love you too, man. You know what I'm saying? Like you're
it's cool, man. Hey, Paul's a legend, man. Let's not beat around the bush. Paul's an absolute legend. I've had the pleasure of pulling Paul twice at 2 practices, never in competition. But both times, I don't think Paul even probably remembers me touching his hand. It was, within that, I think it may have been, at least one of them was before I broke my arm, possibly. You know what? I think both of them were before I broke my arm. The first time was in a barn in BFE, North Carolina. And that was the first time I met Adam Warzinski as well. And then the second time, Paul came down to Spartanburg back when we trained at the tattoo shop. And I want to say he come down with like Rick Layton's son, Ryan Layton. And I want to say Joe Rogers, Johnny Edwards. But there was a couple like little super matches, little challenge matches, I guess you would call them, there at our practice. And I got to practice a little bit with Paul. But look, man, that was like grabbing a hold of a dogwood tree and trying to bend it over. You know what I mean? Like Yeah, there was
That's
just
what I
nothing
said the
there.
first
So,
time I pulled him. I was like, damn,
Yeah.
I feel like I just grabbed the hitch on a truck and was like,
yeah, I mean, you can't move him. Yeah, I
Mm.
couldn't move him. So it'll be interesting to see how April 22nd plays out.
yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
it's funny, Paul. Go ahead, Paul. I'm sorry, buddy.
I was just gonna say, thanks for all the kind words, but I just like to get back to the sport. That's basically what I do. I try to
Yeah,
do,
man. Well,
so.
you're doing a heck of a job, dude. Like I mean, the guy like Jeremiah and Slava and all these guys, all the guys that train with you, dude. And I've pulled with you and learned from you, Paul. I mean, like nobody has anything bad to say, dude. Like that, and
Yeah.
everybody that comes out of there, anybody that trains with you are a true gentleman. Like every single one of those guys have been to my house, and they're family, man. Like you got
Right.
every single one of y'all are great. Like that whole community, and it's not just
Yeah.
like becoming a better arm wrestler, becoming a better person too. Like, and that's why I respect like Chad and Shane's crew too, because those guys are. I mean, they're putting out not only like good athletes, but gentlemen. Like it's a code, and I respect that stuff. And it's funny how you said you weren't tech, you weren't all about the tech, and I ain't either. But the first time to be honest with you, the first arm wrestling video I ever watched was you and Devin Larrett. Like it's funny how like you have nothing to do with like the internet and tech stuff, but you're all over the internet.
Well, that's funny. I've never put a video of myself on the internet.
No self promotion.
No, so
You're a legend though. You don't have to.
most
There you
of them
go.
be losing probably on the internet or be losing because I've never put any of my matches. I never recorded any of my matches. I've never looked at myself arm wrestling actually.
There you go. Yeah, that's crazy. I've heard about how like y'all used to pull all the time. I went to one of James Redaridis's powerlifting meets, and we went and had dinner afterwards, and he was telling me like the best stories, man, of you guys pulling and like just
Yeah.
the crazy wars y'all used to get into at practice and stuff. And I'm like, I could sit there and listen to you and James talk about arm wrestling all day long.
Yeah, I mean, like 30 years ago, I was arm wrestling with Christian Benny, Marcio. In the 90s, Jason Bale, Mike Solaris, and a lot of guys you never
Man.
even really, really good in practice. Tim Bresnan
Yeah.
started in the 90s. So we used to have some really great practices in Connecticut, New Jersey, and New York, where there'd be 30, 40 guys out of practice. And it was we had good times.
Yeah. James would tell me, he said regular practices would be 20, 25 people. He's like, that'd be a regular practice. At a big practice would be upwards of 40, 50, 60 people.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, woo,
Yeah.
that's a lot of hands to grab.
Oh yeah. It was.
Donnie,
And see, back then,
It was different.
it's funny that you said the first video you watched of arm wrestling was Paul with Devin Laird.
Yeah.
That was like the second video I watched. The first video I watched was Devin Laird. They dressed him like an old man and rolled him into a ball. And that got me, that's what like my hyperfixation kicked in. And I was like, man, I want to see something else. And then I seen the video of Paul pulling in that garage. And then that got me into looking for practices and all that. That's how I got into the sport 4 years ago.
I mean, I wish you would have came.
yeah.
Well, Spartanburg's closer. Spartanburg's between me and y'all. But yeah.
Man,
It's crazy because I think Paul's house is only like an hour and 15 minutes from me, or hour and 30.
Yeah.
Donnie, dude, you go either way. You go either way, man. You're sitting nice, man. I'm like 4 hours from Spartanburg, and I'm like, I think you're about 3.5 or something like that for me. But, I mean, I got to go to Wilmington. That's like the closest to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I try to get out and travel as much as I can, but sometimes it's just hard, especially going into like the busy season for me this year.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard for me to get guys to train with me. Because they're mostly smaller guys, and the bigger guys aren't as committed around here.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of my training on my own, even though I pull with guys during the week and stuff. I still do most of it on my own. So
because Paul, Paul, both you and Shane, if I'm not mistaken, like not too long ago, Paul, it was hard. Like we couldn't find you a match, and Shane was recently going through that.
Well, yeah, I
So,
mean, Damien to find me a match, and he was having a hard time finding me a match. And
yeah,
then, well, my original thought was I want to go down in weight and challenge some of the lower weight classes. So
yeah.
that was my plan. But then Shane wanted to arm wrestle me. I'm like, all right, I'll put some weight back on. I put 15 pounds back on.
Bring
So-
bring
Oh,
the
man,
good
hey.
numbers out, baby.
Keep
Stay
putting
up.
it on because
But
I am.
I wanna
My
I
weight
wanna
ain't
go
going up.
I was going to 220 at 230. You know, that's where I was
Yeah.
headed. Now I'm back up to 265. So
Well, you know, they
Paul,
got that new the PAL league with Sean Hancock. He's offering like a 118 kg, which is 260. And
yeah,
and now I've seen a couple of them. I believe Joe Rogers and Dawsonville is going to have a 115 kg, which is 253. So, you know, the way I'm kind of looking at it right now, that's probably going to be just the territory that I play in is just, you know,
yeah,
maybe weight cuts to 260, 253, and then pull both
yeah.
classes that and the supers, you know.
Yeah.
yeah,
For me, it's not the weight of the guy normally. It's how long his arm is and how big his hands are. I have
Yeah.
more problem with the length than I don't really care too much about the weight, but it's more
Yeah.
than the how long the lever is. So,
No.
yeah. Paul said he doesn't care if you're 500 pounds if your lever's this big. Just
Well,
bring it
I
on,
guess
baby.
I'm screwed. I'm screwed then because I got a short arm and short fingers. We'll
Well,
find out, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, you're very powerful, so I know what I'm getting into. I know what I'm getting into. That's why.
Well, I mean, I really, honestly, I don't know what I'm getting into, and I'm not trying to be funny, but you know, I've pulled not a ton of tournaments. You know, work obligations, other outside life obligations. I don't get to pull as many tournaments as I'd like to. I'm trying to find that happy medium where I can maybe get out and travel more. But right-handed, I haven't really found many losses in the past couple of years at these tournaments. And I'm not saying I'm that good. It's just I haven't been able to pull the Paul Walthers, the Paul Passmores, you know, these higher ranked super heavyweight guys. So that's really what April 22nd is about to me. It's where am I at? You know, what's my level at? I know I've been working hard with like a strong team. I've got, you know, just straight up killers on the team, you know, like all the way down the line. But it doesn't tell me a lot about where I'm at because, you know, you pull Chad Silvers and he's just a wall, you know, that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean you're not strong. Or if you hit into Adam's hook and you're stuck and Adam just, you know, flies through you, that it doesn't mean that you're not strongest. They're that
Right.
good. So where am I really? And, you know, maybe Paul's in the same lane that they're in. Maybe me and Paul are closer. I don't know. So that's really what April 22nd is about for me. You know, win, lose, or draw, I can't complain. I'll know where, you know, coming back from these injuries and the hard work has gotten me. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you say it's a win-win for you, Shane? Regardless, I mean,
no, I mean, no,
you
if I
wanna come
lose,
out
I'm gonna
with
be
W, but the learning
no,
experience.
if I lose, I mean, the simple fact is, I don't plan on losing.
Exactly.
And if I lose, I mean, it'll be tough. It'll probably slow my momentum down, but I'm not going to look past Paul and say, oh, I'm going to beat Paul. And, you know, I do have a super match with Passmore in September, but there's such a big gap there. I'm not even thinking about, you know, that
Yeah.
match, but, you know, it's just Paul Walther right now. So I'm not looking past him, but I'm not planning on losing. I mean, if I'm being honest, I think on paper, Walters is the 70-30 favorite, but I think it's a lot closer than what people think.
Oh yeah. I love the confidence. Paul, there seems to be a like a reoccurring theme here with you, man. You seem to be the gatekeeper to the elite world. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? A lot of arm wrestlers seem to I mean, and rightfully seek you out to say, hey, am I in that elite realm or not? And would you say that's an accurate assumption or?
Yeah, I would say it is, but I'm not a heavyweight. I'm really a lighter guy that just was too lazy to lose weight. So, you know, I wrestled for almost 10 years at 198, you know, so
Oh, wow.
And then I arm wrestled at 220 and 242. And then, I just like, okay, let me arm wrestle the bigger guys. So that's what,
Yeah.
So I guess you could call me the gatekeeper to the heavyweights, but I don't really consider myself a heavyweight. At 230 to 240, is really what I am.
With the power of a heavyweight.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just do my thing.
Shane,
Paul, stay out of the 98s, man.
Yeah. Believe me, I wish I could get back down there. I wish. But anyway, I'm just looking forward to having a good match, and I got nothing to lose. That's the way I look at it. This is all like gravy for me because I've been doing this 33 years. So
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I'm enjoying it. I enjoy my biggest joy is going to arm wrestling practice. You know what I'm saying? That's just for me.
I've said this to you before at my house. It's just another day at the office, huh? Like,
yeah. Well, honestly, in the last several years, I really haven't been trained for myself. I've been putting everybody, all the guys I train with, ahead of me.
okay.
So I actually, this past 3 months, I've actually trained for myself,
There we go.
which I haven't done in a long, long time, in probably several years.
And that speaks volumes on the amount of respect that you have for Shane and his level and what he's capable of also.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm not taking him lightly at all. I know how strong he is, and I don't know if I'm gonna have anything for him. Honestly, I have no idea, but I'm gonna find out.
This guy ain't no Derek Smith. You know what I'm saying? This guy's the real deal up there.
Derek Smith.
Ain't nothing wrong with Derek Smith. Derek Smith.
That's why I said that, because Paul he came out to North Carolina and Paul was giving him hell.
I was holding him in the hook.
He had been pulling for a long, like Derek had pulled for forever, but it was just crazy to see.
He got there about 45 minutes before I did. That was the third time that week I was pulling.
I wasn't there, but I from what I saw, I was like, damn, Paul is I wasn't expecting that though. I was expecting them to both get in there and it be a tug match, but Paul's slick back hair never even broke one. Like the Paul May never broke once. I was like, damn. I even said that. I was like, Paul came there fresh out of church clothes, hair still slicked back, never broke a sweat, and went home.
No, it was hot. No, that guy's strong though. He's strong.
He's giving hell. I love Derek. Derek's a great guy, man.
He is. He's a nice guy. Very knowledgeable too in the sport of the arm wrestling.
Yeah, he's another one of those guys, and that's Damien. Damien's ex-training partner, and Damien has nothing but great things to say about him. I watch Derek's videos all the time. He's super knowledgeable, but that's where Damien gets his student of the game mind. Like Damien's constantly like watching and learning and doing stuff. He's another guy. Like he's only been in it for 4 years, but the kid's already throwing tournaments. I mean, he's already had a tournament with Devin Larrett at it. Yeah.
It's
Shane, I wanted to ask you, man. What would you say was your biggest focus during your training camp for this? Was it the experience gap for you and him? Were you trying to close down as much as possible?
Man, I don't want to make up anything or try to hit sound bites or anything. I'll just tell you exactly how we are at Carolina Chaos. We look forward to competition because it's a break. When we get in there every Sunday, it's a war, and it's a war for 2, 3, 4 hours, however long it is. And, and then we work out during the week on our own. Sometimes we get together, a few of us, but, for the most part, we all got what we got going on during the week because we got people like Adam, Gage, and Ethan that all drive up from, Charleston and stuff every week. So, we migrate out, do our own thing during the week, and we get back together and hit it hard again Sunday. And it's like that leading all the way up until a competition, whether that's a tournament or a match, doesn't really matter. That's just our chance to give our arms a chance to heal. So, the focus has been the same thing for quite some time. You know, I guess most of my arm wrestling career so far has really been just focused on getting back healthy, because every time I seem to get healthy, I have an injury. You know, 6 months in, I broke my arm. And then like a year after that, I detached my left bicep. And then a few months after that, I ended up ripping my right brachialis in half. And it's just been, you know, a steady, constant thing of, you know, one after another. Well, I'm finally, you know, knock on wood, I'm at a point now where I'm not training to get back where I was. I'm training to continue progression. And so that's really just been the focus this whole time, is just get stronger, get better, and, you know, time under tension, and look forward to taking that 1 week off where I can rest and heal up and hopefully go in feeling good. Cause, you know, I figure if I can grip the man's hand and my arm feeling good, I'm gonna feel confident, you know? So
Yes, sir.
that's about it. There ain't nothing, there's nothing particular you could train about with Paul Walther. I've watched videos, sure. I mean, we're all going to do that. You can watch, you know, 3 videos and see Paul win 3 different ways, whether it's a top roll, a hook, or a press. You know, he's done it. He can do it. He's been, I think I heard in one podcast, Paul Walther said, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think you said you started pulling in 92?
90.
1990.
Yeah.
So I was 4 years old. So like the man's been doing it longer than you know, as long as I've been alive. So there's nothing I can really train to. He knows it all. It's just, you know, going to come down to can I apply enough pressures in my avenues and get into my lanes and make a difference. But as far as specific training, it's just get better and look forward to taking a break, you know.
Absolutely, man. I mean, I respect that, dude, and the amount of respect that you have for Paul, like the amount of respect between you guys is amazing, and I love that, because a lot of times people see like, because Shane, you're like me, man. Like we're on the table. Like I've heard people talk about them being across from you at the table and them think they're like literally scared for their life, and I'm like, that's like, we're different. It's a switch that goes off, and it's a lot of people tend to look at that and they don't see the actual like competitive nature and like that's involved in that. And it's good to see, like, that's why I love these podcasts so much, is because we can get guys like you and somebody who, like Paul, who would never in his life yell at you at the table like he's the most like when you think of an ideal athlete, that somebody wants a professional, that's like a company wants them to that wants him to represent them and that would pay him. That's Paul Walters, man. I mean, there's just 2 different athletes, and there's nothing wrong with either side. And I love these podcasts because we get to get 2 different people together, and you know, and stuff like this gets to happen, dude. And I'm super thankful.
Well, I don't want to be too respectful, Paul. I plan to 3-0 you. I'm just going to tell you that now. I plan to make quick work of it and start driving back to Greenville. So, I mean, whether that happens or not, we'll find out April 22nd. But I don't want it to get too twisted. I plan to win 3-0. You know what I mean? Which I'm sure Paul does too. You can't go into it planning anything different. So,
absolutely. Have we discussed, like, has there been a match, like the rules for this match? Because I feel
as far as I know, it's pretty standard rules, which is what I prefer.
Okay.
I think, you know, 2 fouls, regular ref script, not running fouls, except for like all slips go to strap unless they're like blatantly at the pin level or below. I think. Paul, have you heard any different?
Yeah, I left it up to, I didn't care.
Yeah. So I think it's just pretty standard rules.
I told him what.
Okay. See, that's just two men wanting to get in there and handle business, man. That's what I love about it. None of this.
Paul's been doing it since 1990, and you know, I think you know, my coach by 1990 had at least 1, maybe 2 world champions. You know what I mean? So like I've been trained by that guard, that same, you know, that same era of arm wrestling. So I mean, I like standard straight up pulling. Not, you know, I understand running fouls are more maybe more pleasing to the audience and stuff like that, but I'm not getting on the table for the audience. I'm getting on the table to find out who's better at arm wrestling between me and Paul Walters, you know.
That's what separates the men from the boys, man. I respect that attitude, guys. Like this is, to me, this is one of the matches that could have happened in the Southeast that I would have loved to happen, and it's happening. Like when I say I think this could be a pay-per-view match, I think it could be a pay-per-view match. This is a like Monster Factory worthy match. do you guys, where do y'all expect to see it go? Like, are we going to see a hook war? Or are we going to see Paul Walther's top roll? Because Shane, I've felt you on the table, man, and I've also seen your grip outside of arm wrestling and stuff. That hand is like Alcatraz, Bubba. Like, it ain't nothing. Once something's inside of it, it ain't coming out.
I was trained by Chad Silvers, man. That hand's built by Chad Silvers, you know.
There we go. Hey, Android.
But you know, I can't tell you where I plan for it to go. I mean, I don't know. I guess when we grip up, we'll kind of know where the pressures are, and we'll see where each other's wanting to go, and we'll find out from there. It's really just I think it's gonna come down to the go. Paul's fast. You know, you could see him flash pinning several people on YouTube. So it's not like he's gonna wait to catch me somewhere. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
when they say go, it's gonna be, you know, it's gonna be off to the races. It's gonna be a drag race to position, and then we'll see what happens.
Do you see if Paul gets ahead early? Do you see that being a factor, or do you see your endurance becoming one of the key factors in this? Because you guys, like you said, y'all's practices, I've been warned about y'all's practices. People tell me if you're going out to Chad Silver's practice, you better hope you're not doing that for 2 to 3 weeks after that if you're not used
That's
to
a
it.
lie. That's a lie, because if you come to our practice and say, hey, man, I'm a little beat up, let's not do a ready go, let's slow pull, we're gonna slow pull with you. Yeah, I don't think it's any secret that we do a lot of ready go, you know, tournament style 100% go hits. But they, you know, when you know, our mind frame is when me and Paul has that match, we're not going to slow pull. You know, they're gonna set us straight. They're gonna make sure everything's even, and they're gonna say ready go. So yeah, I mean, you can come to our practice, man. It's not that bad, and we have multiple tables. But I know you, Donnie. You get to our practice and you bang it out with all of them. Just come on. We've been waiting. We even have them down there by your house once a month. We changed it, and now we pull at Adam's house once a month. And every time you have an excuse, and I'm just not going to take them excuses no more. Only excuse I want to hear is, Shane, I don't want to come down there. That's the only one. That's the only truthful. Yeah. I don't want to hear no more of it.
You can ask Donnie what I told him. I was like, dude, I said, you should be going to Spartanburg every week, and you're not far from, I even said, Paul's house either. You know what I'm saying? Like you got these two great freaking coaches and teams. Like, I wish I lived to relive. You know what I mean?
No.
We have a lot of
three kids and a wife. It's hell.
No, it is.
Paul, I think y'all train on Wednesdays or something, don't you?
I train all different nights with these guys, mostly Sunday afternoons now. But I was
Paul,
3 or 4 times a week. Now I tapered way back the last few months. So I'm
would you say training with these lighter guys has your endurance probably? No.
I mean, no. I love the lighter guy. I love them. They're all great guys, but I put in about 2 to 4 hours a day, 6 days a week for this match. So I like I haven't had a break in 2 weeks right now. So every day.
Yeah. I'm not arm wrestling every day. I'll arm wrestle once a week. You know what I mean? But with our practices, I can't say that, because there's a couple of them North Carolina. Maybe y'all bred a little different up there. Y'all got a little different something in the water. But Joe Rogers and Dylan Bibb, they come and train with us every Sunday. They're Team Carolina Chaos now, and but they still, I think, hold their own little side practices every like Wednesday or something where they pull. I've just found that, you know, my tendons can't handle all that. You know, they're a little younger than me too. They're still in their 20s, man. I don't know. Maybe it's age. Maybe it's me looking for an excuse, but I can lift, you know, I can work on my table. I got pulleys. I've got bands. I've got weights. I've got gym memberships. So that's not a problem, but I can't get in there and ready to go bang multiple days a week. It's just, it's too painful.
I'm the same way. I get in there banging out one good day a week, and that's it. It takes till the next practice to be back to normal.
Well, it depends on, for me, where I practice. You know what I mean? Like if I do my normal practice with my guys, and I could probably pull another day. or whatever during the week. But, you know, whenever I venture out to some of these, you know, I don't know what to say, bigger clubs, I should say, that have, you know, more top quality guys, it's definitely rough, man. It's almost like tournament pains. The next couple of days, you know, I'm stuck doing rehab and everything else, and maybe lifting heavy once that week or maybe twice that week, you know, all depending. But I got a pretty physical job that I'm constantly shoveling rock and dirt and all kinds of stuff anyway. So I don't necessarily recover that quick because of that, I think, but or it may
Well, I
help.
mean, our lightweight guys, like Paul was talking about, he likes pulling with the lightweight guys. I want to pull with your lightweight guys, Paul, because, you know, I'm pulling with Hunter Knobs, Joe
Yeah.
Rogers, and him. And Hunter Knobs is like getting hit by a Mack truck at full speed. You know what I mean? You will
Yeah.
not get off before him. You're catching every time, and you're just hoping you're catching. You know?
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, I think I've just found, you know, maybe I'm a little injury prone, or maybe I jumped into, you know, head first and went too all in, and, you know, I ended up getting a bunch of injuries. So this past year, not, you know, pretty much relatively being injury free, other than typical arm pain, you know, like arm wrestling pains and sprains or whatever. It's been, I've seen a lot of growth, you know, a lot of growth in my potential and my output and all in the past year. So I do got to trim back down, but I ain't losing weight before Paul Walther. You know, I'm trying to gain it still. I want to come in there at like 395 pounds, Paul Walther. You need to gain weight.
LeBron it up.
You're going to have to gain some weight. I'm
I
coming
pulled-
in big,
I
Paul.
Dean, Reggie Ward, they were over 400 and 500 pounds. So
Yeah. Look,
It
you
don't-
can't see what I'm saying. I can't even talk junk with Paul Walther. She's like, "Oh, I pulled Cleve Dean." You know what I mean? What am I gonna say
Nice
that'll
try.
get him off his game? Nothing.
I-
You know what I
I
mean?
pulled John Brzezinski, Bill Brzezinski. I pulled
That's
them all.
crazy.
Yeah.
Um,
You pulled the Yukon Jacks a couple times, didn't you?
In my fourth or fifth year, I took fifth in the World Championships.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been at Paul's house. You have one of those trophies in the garage, don't you?
Yukon, no, I don't think I do. The only trophies I have, I threw out when I moved down here. I threw about 300 trophies out, and I filled up a 5-yard container with trophies.
That's crazy. Yeah,
But
I think you might have like a Yukon Jack shirt or something
Right,
out there in the shop. I remember seeing it.
Yeah, I had the whole banner that they for Yukon
Yeah,
Jack.
I was just, it's
But-
like going through a time machine in there. It's awesome, man. He's got some of the coolest, like, I will say this, trophies have definitely downgraded a ton from back in the day.
I just give them to kids. If the kids at a tournament, I'll give them the trophies.
I hate to say it, man, but I don't give nobody my trophies.
No,
I'm keeping every third place trophy I got is sitting up on my mantle right now.
I don't do this. I do it for other people.
Hey, and actually every third place I ever got, I could just look at everybody and be like, you see that third place and that third place and that third place and that third place right there? Those all came from freaking Hunter Knopfs. I'm third place behind Hunter Knopfs in every single one of them.
He's a bad dude. He's a
He's a
bad dude, man.
Bro,
And
last
he's
time I
putting in
pulled,
work. He is
last time
putting
I
in
pulled
big
Hunter,
time work.
he looks like an animal, bro.
He's thick. He's
Yeah.
he's eating heavy. All these years I've been pulling with Hunter, he's like, man, I can't weigh no more than 159 pounds, or I'm eating a lot. I said, listen, son, you ain't eating a lot. If you want to gain weight, you're talking to the right man. Eat with me for 1 week. I promise you're gonna gain weight. You know.
Yes,
Well,
sir.
you know, he's finally eating hard, and I think he's training sometimes 2 times a day. He's an absolute animal. He's really fired up for that Tennessee round robin for the lightweights. That is massive. That's one of the biggest events I've seen since I've started arm wrestling, you know, really coming down the line. I know there was one time where there was talk of like a cock of the walk or something like that up in the Northeast for the 198 guys, and it fell through because of COVID or whatever. But like seeing like, what is it? Something like 12 of the top 15 lightweights in North America, all about to go down in this round robin. They all have to pull each other. It is insane. And I'm glad to see Hunter Knopf's getting in it and coming out of there, you know, with that #1 ranking, because it's going to be an easy day for him. I feel like he's an absolute animal.
So Cody Woods was just at the house over the weekend. And I took like, to me, that whole setup favors those two guys, you know,
Endurance,
and
speed,
yes, it just,
power.
I hate to say it, like I like Palco, like I have respect for all those guys, man. Roman, all those dudes, but I just don't. I know Palco got the best of Hunter last time, but I think that was and I can't speak for Hunter, but I honestly think just Hunter was that just didn't come. That just wasn't the Hunter Knopf to me that day,
He come
bro.
back in the tournament and ended up beating Falco. He ended up going
Yeah.
undefeated in the tournament, you know, and
I
beating
don't want
everybody
to
there.
say he underestimated Palco, but I want to say that he underestimated Palco a little
He's
bit.
got a chip on his shoulder ever since then. He has had a
Yes,
chip
sir.
on his shoulder, and it's scary. It's painful.
Because I mean,
Sucks
everybody.
pulling with him, but he's a bad dude, man. He's
Well,
really all in, and it's impressive.
everybody, including me, and I mean, we're in a little lightweight chat, and we were all telling him, we were like, Bo, he had two super matches, or a super match that day, however it went out, and we were like, damn, dude, you're gonna pull all of 8 seconds, you know? He's
Yeah.
gonna flash him every time, boom, boom, and I mean, everybody thought that, and
I did
think,
too. Yeah, Palco's strong though.
yeah, no,
He's
like
strong.
props to Palco, dude, like, because like I felt Hunter, bro, and I'm telling you, everybody thinks Hunter's all speed. Yes, the man is a bolt of lightning, but he's also a Mack truck that's tied to a bolt of lightning. It's insane with the power that comes behind that hit.
Dude, if you slow pull with him and you go sideways and you feel his resistance from your,
it doesn't feel 154 at all. No, he feels like a 200, 220 guy. It's really, it's strange.
Very strong. Very strong.
Yeah, it's strange, yeah.
And also
speaking of, what about Chase Griffin? I know, Paul, you was talking about earlier some of the guys you train with. You know, I don't think I've ever beaten anybody to come out of your camp in competition. And Chase Griffin's the one that sticks out to my mind. I feel like I don't even think I've ever beat him in a practice. Is he still pulling, or is he back at it? I know he gotten out of it for a little while.
Yeah, he was at practice Sunday. You know, I think Chase could really be a top guy in this country if he just put his mind to it and stuck to training.
Yeah.
I really truly believe that. His wrist and he's 300 pounds right now, but he's
with a long arm, real long arm.
Yeah. But he did compliment me this week. He doesn't. Chase's compliments are pretty funny. I didn't know get stronger as you get older was compliments. The other one was, I must be feeling weak today. I said, oh, thank you. Those compliments, I go to him. I'm like,
there we go.
Hey, take them however you can get them. Yeah, just take them however you can get them, Paul.
I'll take that. But,
I agree with you, Paul, because Chase for a while there, he had gotten into like a really good form, and I think I want to say it was the Ladson tournament.
yeah.
I think maybe he won it, or he I don't remember. Did he sneak a win out on you?
Yeah, he
got
beat
one.
First match. I had a long match with. Well, he lost to Jimmy Roberts real fast. Jimmy flashed him, right? Yeah. So then I had to go against Jimmy. I had a pretty tough match against Jimmy, and then I said, Chase, you should thank me. I just pulled a long match against him, so I basically wore Jimmy down. You know, I took a little steam out of him, right. And then I beat Chase, and then I had to beat Jimmy again. I'm like, Chase, you're not helping me. You're not helping me. I'm helping you all the time. You need to help me a little bit. Don't let somebody beat you so fast. I'm like, what's wrong with you? Come on, man. but you know, he really could be. I think he's a top 10 heavyweight if he really concentrated.
He's got a lot of potential. A lot of potential.
Yep, he does. I'm like, so
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, I only have one lane. I only have one lane against him, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's still there. I'm sure it is if he's just getting back into it. But yeah, definitely. Like for me, there's no sideways first with him. I gotta more or less do like a high hook and straight back pressure, and then go. but his hand is so strong.
His hand and wrist, especially in the straps, that's where he's really tough. Normally he's in the strap. Yeah, like I said, I think I had a 460-pound guy come a few weeks back too. So I don't know if he's back. And I got a national power lifter coming during the week and a couple other big guys, but they haven't been so committed. It's the lighter weight guys that are way more committed than the bigger guys for whatever reason. I don't know why. So I wish I could get some big guys, because basically this is the least amount of pulling I've probably done in 2 years. In the last few months, I've only arm wrestled once a week. So
you said you're training like 6 days a week though. Are you doing like most of your work? You say you do it on your own. Is that like table pulleys and lifting weights or whatever? Just like the kind of the standard arm wrestling workouts, and then you're pulling once a week. So it's about the same. I mean, that's what I do. So
that's how I train. I pull once a week, and then I train every day for like pulleys and stuff on the table, side press. I mean, a little bit of everything. But
So,
I only pull once a week, table time.
It's strange because I'm eating more, but since the amount of work I'm putting in, I haven't gained a pound. And I'm eating a lot of food, but it's just like I'm staying between 260, 265. I'm like, I can't put any weight on because I think I'm just in so good of a shape right now. That's what I think it is.
You've reached that comfortable level of where your metabolism is balancing out the carb intake that you're bringing in, and like you said, your workouts aren't exceeding the point of the amount of food you're bringing in. And you're burning off the right amount of glycogen. Like you're at the right levels for everything. You're at a plateau basically. Yeah.
I'm basically ready to go.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go. That's where I'm at. I'm ready.
I'm excited to be a part of this event, man. Like I said, the whole card is going to be amazing, but this is the match I'm looking forward to the most. What did Damian get out the lineup yet? Did he say how this was going to go down?
Yeah, I think we're last.
Yeah, for sure.
We're the last match of the first group. Like he's going to do all of the, one-on-one matches.
Yeah.
One at a time on one table. I think Joe Rogers and ET are kicking it off, and then he's got a few more lined up, and then it's me and Paul, and then they're going to switch over to like that tag team left hand deal, and I think a couple other little, I guess, novelty matches or something that they've got set up. They're going to run that on like 2 tables.
Yeah, I'm excited for this match the most, man. What do you guys have any opinion on the rest of the card? Because I know.
You gotta have
some guys in there.
You could have your hands full.
Your boy right. Hey, your boy right there going.
Hey, he was over the house 2 weeks ago. You're gonna have your hands full.
Who are you pulling, Donnie?
I'm ready. I'm pulling Joe McGrath.
Dude, he's a lot heavier right now. A lot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Good.
He's got you by 20 to 30 pounds right now.
He does.
Tell him, Donnie. Tell him you're not worried about the weight. You're just worried about the lever, right? It's just about how long the lever is. You ain't worried about the weight. Go.
That's it. Just the lever, baby.
No,
there we go. Recap to the beginning. No, I'm excited for that. We got a little side bet going on because me and Joe are known for like our hats that we wear. And Shane, you're also known for your hats, man. I've seen some people comment about your hats and stuff, and you always rocking a sick hat, dude. But me and Joe got a little side bet going on. The winner gets the other guy's hat, and we're gonna sign that. Like it's gonna have to be signed and handed over. So that's going. I'm gonna wear my least favorite hat that day.
Hey, if Joe Rogers shows up in a bucket hat, y'all better hold on.
Oh, that's what I tell people all the time. I said that old school Joe Rogers bucket hat. That's a dangerous man right there, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, I think ET is going to have a hard time with Joe.
Oh yeah,
ET's got, we know ET has one lane. Everybody knows it. Everybody sees it. He's fast when he's comfortable in the setup, but for the most part, if he's, you know, in the least bit uncomfortable, which Joe Rogers will make him uncomfortable. You know what I mean? You're not going to be comfortable gripping up with Joe Rogers. He's got too much experience. But, you know, I feel like ET is going to be set up to, you know, catching a hook, and we're just going to see if he can catch it. But Joe Rogers, he's gotten real. He was known more for his top roll, I feel like. But since he's been training with us, his hook has come a long way, and his speed has come a long way. And and I think it's just made his top roll better. So he's got so many more avenues now. There's more lanes, I feel like, to Joe Rogers than ET does. So even if he loses match 1, well, he can go to, you know, plan B. If he loses match 2, he can go to plan C. And I don't know that ET has that. You know, it's either catch, and if that don't work, we'll try to hook harder and faster. And I don't know if that's going to be the ticket to success for him against Joe Rogers. I feel like, you know, I'm pretty confident in saying Joe Rogers is going to take that.
If I've pulled Joe recently, well, you know, in the past month or 6 weeks or whatever, however long it was before I was when I was at practice. But if ET playing that catching game, man, I just don't know, because I mean, trying to catch that hit that Joe has. And it's strong, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if he can catch it.
I don't know that he has a lane other than catching him, but that's, you know what I mean? And look, ET's not, I'm not trying to downplay him. He's big for the sport. He's a popular guy on social media. I'm not saying that he's not a good arm wrestler. I think he's probably one of the top dogs out there in California. If you didn't have legends like Alan Fisher out there, you know what I mean, then he probably would be right up there. I don't know where Jamie Sheldon's weight is, stuff like that, or Luke Kent. I think he's from out in that way, but there's some killers out there, and I feel like he's probably dancing around there with them. But I just don't think he's been in the game long enough to beat Joe Rogers. Joe Rogers is very smart. He's a generational puller. You know what I mean? His dad was a Mason. So
Bucky, man, that was a legend.
and this ain't no diss to California or nothing, but and from what I've seen and felt, I mean, the Southeast is just different, man. It's different. It's different.
I would say the West is they're a lot more technical. They got a lot of like student of the game pullers out there, like Derek Smith, a lot of like amazing coaches and stuff.
It's hard not to say the same thing about the Southeast. You got Chad Silvers, who was trained by Dave Patton. We're talking about technique. Sure. You know what I mean? Like, but it's very intelligent, very technical student of the game. And Adam Warzinski is sick in the head, and that's a student of the game. Like, I love Adam to death. I'll tell him to his face, the man's crazy. He's got a screw loose, and it's a beautiful thing to see. He's one of those special people that come along. He's going to be at the top of the sport for a long time. But he's a student of the game, and Hunter's born with that, you know, that winning genetics. I mean, my whole team, if you think about it, I train with, you know, Chad Silvers, 7-time world champion, Adam Warzinski, who's on top of the world right now. You got Hunter Knobs, Joe Rogers, Fritz Corey. He's won a couple national championships. Jason still comes to practice all the time. He's won a national championship. Sean Gillespie, you talk about student of the game, and you want to talk about a long lever. You know, his arm, I've never gripped a hand as long and tall as Sean Gillespie. Even Matt Harris come back out of retirement. And, you know, I used to ride around Spartanburg with a table and a strap in my truck, hoping to find him at a McDonald's or something, just so I could learn to pull in a strap from him. So, you know, and that's a multiple time national champion, beat Cobra Rhodes and all these legends. So like, I'm not downplaying it. I'm 100% serious. I train with the best team there is in the nation. And that's why I'm excited for April 22nd. I want to put that to use on the table instead of just kind of, you know, last minute shooting down to a tournament that's nearby and hoping somebody shows up that's a big name. You know, let's just get it set up and make it happen. And Paul Walther, like you said earlier about, you know, people may not know him. Paul Walther's not on the rankings because Paul Walther doesn't care or want to be on the rankings when it comes nationally. But anybody that knows Paul Walther knows that he's in that top 10. You know what I mean? That top 10, top 12, or wherever it may be higher. We really wouldn't know. I mean, if he was truly holding Derek Smith, you know what I mean? Like Derek's, you know, and you know, easily inside that top 10. So, you know, an opportunity to pull somebody like that and find out where where my training, where my team has gotten me, yeah, I couldn't pass it up. I wasn't going to pass it up. Now we could get into what happened before, because I'd actually challenged Paul earlier in the year, and it could have been not necessarily lost in translation, but lost, between me and promoter and him and back and forths. But the original word I got back was Paul said he wasn't pulling competitively anymore and was also looking at losing weight. And I was like, what am I supposed to say to that? Nothing but respect. The man's been doing it for 30 something years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's been one of the top guys the whole time. He's been the number one guy in the Carolinas since the past 17 years since he moved here. So I had nothing but respect for it. But I'm glad to see that maybe them changing that rankings and putting me at number one in the Carolinas for the first time. It says maybe it lit a little fire under your butt, Paul. But I'm glad it happened, because
I didn't even know rankings would change or anything. I just heard somebody said I was scared. And I said, okay, I'll show you how scared I am.
Well, as soon as I seen that post on Facebook about, the rankings or whatever, I told my team, I was like, me and Paul's happening soon. We're happening soon. And then Damien hit me up. He was like, hey, what you feel about pulling Paul Walther's? I was like, man, run it. Run it. You know what I mean?
Somebody said I was scared, and I was like, you gotta be joking me. You gotta be kidding. I'm scared to arm wrestle. I'll arm wrestle anybody.
Seems like somebody who tried to promote this whole thing was really smart and piecing something here and there, and they were like,
Donnie Anderson.
He was smart. They just sat back and they were like,
I said, all right, I'll do the match, but I ain't doing it under your promotion. I sent it to Damien.
But you know what's crazy though is both of you guys, like I personally have tried to find Shane a match. It's been like you couldn't.
I've had 10. I went through 10 people.
Yeah, like
hey man, I said I'd pull you.
Ryan said he'd pull me, but Ryan would just make me look bad because he's a 200-pound guy, and he'd fly through my arm. And I'm trying to make a name up here in the heavyweights. You know what I mean? Like I can't have a 200-pound guy hurting me. You know what I mean?
Now you're just lying.
Yeah.
Hey, so if this fire that we're trying to light under Paul Walther gets lit,
it's already lit.
It's lit.
I know.
Lit.
But
wait, hold on. I'm going there to prove a point. Period.
Oh, there we go.
Good.
That's all I'm saying. Period. And I'm going to show you who the best team is. Period.
Oh, the garage team.
With the best knowledge. I'm going to show you who has the best knowledge.
Oh, shit. Here we go. Hey, this is Paulie we're talking to, not Paul.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go, and we're going to see what happens. I am totally ready. No excuses.
I'm glad. I'm glad.
Shane says if he wins, you come down to Carolina Chaos and join Carolina Chaos.
It ain't like that. Look.
Hey, he's going to learn something. This is what
I hope for, Paul. That's what I hope for.
There we go.
Like I said, I think in everybody's opinion, I think it's not, crazy to say that he's probably 70-30 favorite, maybe even 80-20 favorite.
I don't
but
care.
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Stupid poll. It's dumb. It's dumb.
But after I 3-0'd Paul Walther's on April 22nd,
I'm
going to be looking at.
That's something you try to. Is that what you practice in the mirror saying that? You sound like a politician.
You don't have to practice it, Paul. Paul, it is,
like
I respect you, Paul.
Stop acting like a politician, all right?
I respect you, Paul, but I'm going to 3-0 you.
Just get on the table and arm wrestle. That's it.
Paul, it's going to once and twice.
Okay.
And then I'm going to hold you and then go for the third time.
You are delusional.
Bro,
delusional.
I'm clickbaiting the shit out of this video.
South Carolina. Dipping too much glue.
Now we got that fire lit. We got that fire lit.
Dude, I'm ready.
I'm clickbaiting the shit out of this. Paul Walther gets in the fight with Shane Owens during an interview.
No, we ain't gonna fight, man. Come on.
5,000 views, baby. Ryan, we're about to get monetized, bro.
It's gonna be simple. We're gonna have the match afterwards. Paul's gonna go back to the garage, and they're gonna be like, if I would have just done this different, if I would have just done this different, I would have beat that young kid.
Let me. How are you gonna feel If you lose to a 60-year-old man, that's a has-been.
Hey, look, I
Oh,
guess I
how do you
guess you're just a
feel?
better man
You
at that day.
might
You know,
well give up the sport if you lose to me.
I'm
You
going to
might-
give up the sport.
If you
Paul,
lose, you should give up the
Paul
sport.
Walther, my arm snapped in half. Okay, my bicep detached from the bone and rolled up to my shoulder. Did I quit? You know what I did? I put a splint on it and I showed up the next week and pulled with the other arm.
that is
There
disgusting.
is, there will be no quit. There is no stop. You know what I mean? Like, I'm beyond that. But you know, after April 22nd, you know, everybody will know that I'm the number one guy in the Carolinas.
Okay.
Carolina Chaos is the number one team in the nation. And Paul,
Good.
all the respect to you, but it's just my time, you know.
There we
Yeah.
go.
It should be your time. It should
Yep.
be.
Yeah.
But I'm going to try not to make it your time.
I want you to try. I want you to.
I'm going
I
to
want you
try.
to. I don't want you to come in and lay down.
And then let's have it. If all right, we'll see.
Guys, you guys got me so pumped for this match, man. I am so stoked. Like I have
It's
this
gonna
is
be
by
good.
far my
I'm
favorite
excited
game.
for it.
Hey, don't blink. That's all I'm going to say is don't blink.
Woo!
Don't
I'm
blink.
having flashbacks when you say that.
Yeah, don't blink. And I was going half speed before.
Oh, there we go.
You was well, I mean, you're talking about half speed against me before.
Most
Every
people.
they said
Hey,
it
man. Hey,
says that y'all haven't seen the version of it.
you told me you tried 100%.
He lied to you. He lied to you.
Dang, I gotta go.
Paul,
I
it's gonna be a pleasure pulling you.
Yeah.
It is what it is. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, we're gonna
I know.
settle it.
I know. I
Yeah,
understand.
we're gonna settle it, and you know, the better man will win that day.
Guys,
Yeah.
I love the amount of respect, fellas. Like I can't tell you how excited I am for this. The the promotion for this match, I feel like Damien's doing an amazing job. Like I said, his first event was awesome. This event, so much better. Like he just keeps doing better. I look forward to the one after this. But this one right here, guys, when I found out this match was happening, I was like, yes, sir. Like, I don't care what I got to do. Even if I'm not a part of it, I'm going down. Like, this is
Yeah.
one of them things that you just have to be a part of. It's been a
It
long
needed to
time
happen.
coming for
It
both of
needed to
y'all.
happen. It's
Yes.
something that maybe some people could argue could have happened 2 years ago or whatever it is. But realistically, man, 2 years ago it would have been just another time of me holding on to a tree and trying to pull it down. I feel like it's closer than most people think now, and I truly feel that way. You know,
Yeah,
I just
sir.
really do. You know, I've gotten stronger, and I'm going to be there to prove it. So.
What does I
I've-
know all you're looking at now is Paul, but what does the future have in store for Shane Owens, man? Like what are we looking for after Paul?
So after April 22nd, after I beat Paul, I'm just going to spread like a plague. Really, it's going to be like an outbreak, just spreading out from South Carolina. Paul Passmore in Georgia, they're already on the hook. September 9th, that's going to happen. But you know, I have a lot of time between April and September. I feel like I might can fit maybe one event, one match in. So there's a couple other states real close to South Carolina with some good heavyweights I might go after. So, but the main focus will be Paul Passmore unless something falls in my lap.
Do we still have an interest? I mean, I don't know what he's doing now as far as arm wrestling goes, but do we still have something for Brandon Allen's King's move?
Look, man, I put that out right afterwards, right after he beat Larry Wheels. Matter of fact, the guy, there's another guy that I think I used the picture of me against Micaiah Paul or something like that. I think is how you say his last name. Micaiah is a strong dude down from like South Georgia. And I think he's been on Monster Factory already. And I just noticed after like Tennessee's ranked in the top like 11, I believe, at 242. So I think he pulled supers up there, but he may be a 242 guy. He's just really a well-built guy. Real strong, but you know, he hit a King's move on me. And I ended up with the win, and I used that picture to try to call out Brandon Allen, you know, like just so I can add another. I think I beat 2 King's moves that day down there in Georgia, one on each arm. So I was just like, let's add another one to the mantle. You know what I mean? I'll just take that King's move, dip it in bronze and put it on the mantle above the fireplace. But I think Brandon Allen's cut down to 231 now. I think he's around that 230s range. So yeah, I just don't see that match ever happening. Not unless I cut weight too, or he gains weight back. But I'd always do it. I mean, why wouldn't I? He's a bigger name, you know.
Absolutely.
I'd win. But you know, he's a big enough name where it would benefit me in the long run. So
Yes, sir. Oh yeah. Paul,
Yes.
I mean, what do we have in store for the man, Paul? He's hey,
I love it.
it.
Paul is eating it up. I can't wait for April 22nd. I can't wait.
I'm so excited.
It's gonna be fireworks.
No idea what he's in for. I am so excited.
That's the thing. I do know.
No, you
I
don't.
do know. I do
I
know.
I haven't trained
I
my.
do know what I'm in for.
Oh no, you
Listen,
don't.
let
No,
me
you
back this camera up
Your
so I can
teammates-
fit this thing in the screen.
That,
The
that makes
question
a
is,
difference to me. That
do you know
doesn't
what
make
you're
sense.
in for? That's
Okay.
the question. Do you know what you're in for? Because I felt you before, Paul. You didn't feel me back then. You didn't feel me back then.
No, all of a sudden you got mysteriously so strong.
Oh,
So
it's not mysterious. It's 4 years. I mean, it's been 4 years.
No, it's not 4 years because you tore your bicep up in 2 years ago up in
That was the left.
I won was that left?
Yeah. I
Well,
broke my right.
Who did you lose to that day, righty?
What in Boone?
Yeah,
That's when I broke my right arm. That
In
was my
Boone.
second tournament.
in Boone. That was 2 years ago.
No, Boone was 2019, August 2019. I snapped my right arm.
That was against my teammate. Well,
Christian McLean from North Carolina. Yeah.
yeah, he don't pull anymore, but
My first match, second tournament in the amateur right-handed super heavyweights. Broke my arm in half. If you're asking who I've lost to right-handed, in the past 3 years, right-handed, I've lost to Nate Adams and Rex Forbes. And that, well, yeah, Ryan, you did get me in an overall. You did get me in an overall. Yeah.
Yeah,
in the classes or whatever.
that was at the beginning of the 3-year mark though. So it's been,
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a couple of years since then.
hey, I've pulled you since, and nah, it ain't happening again.
Yeah. I don't know. You're strong, man. I felt your hand, all of it, man. You know, you're super strong. You don't pull like a normal 200-pound guy, but you went up against Robbie Russell. I'll be honest. I expected that match to be a little different than it ended. Nothing against you, but Robbie's a bad dude.
Yeah, it
is
was
a bad dude.
that high hook for me, man, was just awkward. I don't know. I don't even pull anybody that uses a high hook except for a couple small guys. But
now that we've been on the show talking, I feel like Chase Griffin would be a good guy to pull for Robbie Russell.
There's a big weight difference there. There's a big weight difference there.
Just
Chase is like 300.
on the lever.
Yeah.
well, I mean, for me, like a top roller would definitely be easier than trying to beat that high hook. And I mean, I've added some things to my training that I hope is going to help. From what I felt.
I was thinking trying to find somebody with that lever and with Robbie's power at that weight or even close to that it's going to have to be a bigger guy if you're going to.
No, I'll tell you like this: if he would have came in and trying to top roll, he would have lost. There's no way he was going to top roll me. No way.
The top 3 guys of that 198 division for the force, coming up, it's going to be, Adam and Robbie are both young. Both of them dudes are young, and they're both strong, like insanely strong. That 198, 210, 209 pound class or whatever, they're going to own that division for a long time because you're going to see some of the other guys like Craig Toulier is only going to be able to pull for so long, up there. Yeah. Brandon Elsesser, if he keeps making the cut, man, I don't know how Brandon Elsesser makes that weight because that's a big dude. That is a big guy. So you got to think at some point, some of them guys are going to, age is going to catch up, and they're going to thicken up on their own, and it's going to be harder and harder for them to make that 198, 209.
I'm not gonna lie right now. I think Adam could definitely beat Dan and Dan. I think he could definitely possibly beat Dan and Craig right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not possible.
Number one guy.
Yeah.
For
I
sure.
there's no
think,
doubt.
yeah, I think Adam. Yeah, I mean, it's arguable that he's the guy, right?
Yeah.
I honestly think though, I mean, you gotta watch, Rob Vigent is so talented. That
Oh,
dude,
yeah,
Rob
Yeah.
is so,
If he
so,
comes back.
yeah, he will. He works or whatever he does, but he'll be back again, you know. But Rob is like one of the most naturally talented. He's been around for about 20 years now. And let me tell you, physically, I mean, he can do it all. I mean, he just has it all. And Craig Tullier, I remember Craig pulling out, he's a 54, 65-pound guy, 76-pound guy, Craig. He's basically a blown up 198-pound guy, Craig. He really pulled, he was dominant, more dominant in the lighter weight classes, Craig was. So, but Rob is a true 198-pound, 220-pound guy. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
a lot
I
of
think
these,
genetically he's like I feel like Adam's the same way. Like that's just he walks around at that 208 to 212 range. That's just where he walks every day.
Yeah.
And and naturally his right hand is just genetically gifted. It's different. Some people may see it as an abnormality, but in our sport we see it as a gift.
Yeah.
He's just a natural
you-
talent and gift.
Rob Vigent's hand's ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, he's got a huge hand too. That's what I'm saying. I feel like
Yeah.
Adam's right there comparable, when it comes to that natural talent and genetics,
That would be a great matchup. That would really
Love
be
to see it. I'd love
Yeah.
to see it myself. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
would
I'd pay money to see that match.
yeah, that'd be. And Robbie Russell's right there with everybody too. I think right there with Adam and probably Rob Vigent. I think those three. I'm sure there's other guys, but those three stand out to me right now. Really.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Robbie Russell ended up pulling Chad in the 198. I'm talking about right-handed here. Chad in the 198, and I think him and Adam pulled in like the 220, 242, and supers or something like that.
Ryan pulled
Right-handed. Huh?
and Ryan pulled him in the super match.
And Ryan pulled him in a super match. Yeah. And I mean, he was hanging in there. I mean, it was him and Adam had some wars, man. And he even got
Yeah.
110 on Chad, so
Yeah.
you got to consider Robbie Russell. And Chad's not ranked where he should be. I mean,
Yeah.
who has Chad
No.
lost to since 2012? Like Todd Hutchins, Rob Vigent Jr., and Dan Mosier.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Right-handed.
Yeah.
So he's right up there. He made what's the Naked and Afraid? Dallas
Langston.
Langston.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, he beat Dallas Langston, just flash pinned him like he wasn't there in Mississippi a couple years ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like, I feel like Chad's not ranked to where he needs to be, but Chad's kind of like Paul. Chad, one time Chad said to me, he was like, how much does that ranking spot pay? And it doesn't. So he's like, well, I don't care where they put me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Plus, Chad's been pulling a long time. I think he's really like you can see it in practices. He's just, his heart's filled watching, this younger crowd come up. We have a lot of people on our team that are all in their 20s. I think I might be the only one that's in my 30s. We've got like a big group that's in their 20s, and then we got a big group that's in like their 40s, or whatever.
Yeah.
And some in their 50s.
You know what I find interesting to me, that I don't think most people understand how much work you got to put in to be good at this sport. Because like I tell these guys, I'm training every day, every single day. You got to train through the pain and everything else, and you got to devote a lot of time to this sport to be good at it. You got to eat and sleep it. If you want to be at that high level. So, and it's hard to maintain that high level of training for years and years. You got to take breaks and everything else. So, but the younger people, I don't know. Like my first 15 months in the sport, there was no amateurs. There was hardly any left. It was right hand, and I went to 21 tournaments in 15 months. So, I mean, I just wanted to gain as much experience because there was no internet. So I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I was just trying to figure it out on my own. It's such a big advantage today, but On the other side of it is the training part that I don't really think people understand how much you have to train to be good at something. I wasn't born this way or whatever. I have to work at it constantly, you know,
Yeah,
and
tendon, it's a tendon heavy sport, you know, and tendons don't just get strong overnight. You can't just do 100 curls and have good tendon. You know what I mean? They have to be under that tension. They have to have that constant tension to get strong. And it just comes from arm wrest. I kind of go back to what John Brzezinski's the GOAT. You ask him how he gets strong at arm wrestling, and he'll tell you arm wrestling. And, you know, I feel like if you surround yourself with strong people that are all dedicated to the same thing, you know, you have no option but to get good at it. It just takes time. It's not going to happen overnight.
yeah.
Very true.
Well, fellas, it's pouring down raining. I keep looking out there, and we're still moving in, and all my boxes are out there by my shop, and I'm like, no.
So are you moving? Is that the reason you won't be able to make it to the next practice, Donnie?
When is the next practice? I'm already moved in. There ain't no excuses.
I'll message you with the next date.
Yes, sir. Hey,
All right.
I ain't even gonna, I'm not even saying nothing. I just need the date. We already moved in. That's just stuff that needs to go up underneath the shop. Some of it just ain't got lids on it and stuff. And you know that honey-do list never stops either.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, I enjoyed it, guys. I'm looking forward to the match, and I just want the best for arm wrestling.
Yes,
So,
sir.
Look, I plan on putting on a good show with you, Paul. We're just going to go in there and just look.
yeah.
I know we talk and we say what we've said and all that, but at the end of the day, when they say ready to go, we're both trying to win. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of course, that's
Yeah.
all. I mean, it's just talk until you get on the table. That's it.
Well, if we grip up, we'll go.
By far my favorite interview, man. I really appreciate it, guys. Paul, like an absolute legend, dude. The first guy that I truly was like, when I watched arm wrestling, I was like, wow, like I looked at you as like a famous person. And then like a few weeks later, I was in your garage at your house, and I was like, this is not happening right now. I was like, this is crazy. And I still look at it like that, man. That's one of the things with arm wrestling is like guys get to meet their heroes, and you know, not the average famous person. Like you guys, you're reachable, and that's what I respect the most. And like I want to say I appreciate it, man. From the beginning, you were one of the original people that, you know, helped me, and I appreciate that. And Shane, dude, you know, between you and I, dude, like you're my boy, bro. Like I personally back you. Like I bring this home. I know how hard you work, and I appreciate all the motivation and tips and everything you give me, bro. Like I can't tell you how much I appreciate you driving me and pushing me every day. And I can't wait to see your progress in the sport. Not if, but like when. Like let's do it. I'm ready to see it. And April 22nd, I'm ready for the bomb to go. Yes, sir.
Yeah, guys, I did. You know, I enjoyed it for sure. I think I'm going to make the trip as well. Just at least go up and after pool with everybody and stuff.
Oh yeah.
You know, I need to get my arm busted up, but yeah, I mean, I pulled Shane recently. I haven't pulled Paul in a while, and I don't know. I don't know who's going to win, but I feel like it's going to be a war. And
I'm ready for a war. I'm ready for a war.
There we go.
Awesome. Awesome.
I know. We'd love to have both of you back on, man. Like for real, this was by far my favorite. Like this was the kind of energy that I like.
I'm
man.
ready for a war too. I really am. I'm ready for a war, but I plan to make it quick. You know what I mean? I hope it's quick. I hope it's in and out. You know what I mean? But I'm ready for a war. But I hope it's quick in and out.
I hope it's quick too.
Guys, in case you didn't know, April 22nd, Piedmont Supermatch Series 2. We got Shane Owens from Carolina Chaos against Paul Walther, the legend of the Carolinas. Guys, it's going to go down. Like, I hope you're ready. Don't bring your babies. Don't bring your wives, because the power that's going to be on that table is going to shock the draws off your baby mama. So it's going down. Slicker than
If
deer.
you can't make it, it'll be, I think I read it'll be live on Chance Shaw's YouTube channel. So he'll probably be doing some kind of commentary, I'm sure, over the matches. So
Yes,
Nice.
awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, appreciate that, Shane. Yeah, so check it out on Chance Shaw's YouTube live. We'll get more details on that before, as it gets closer to the match. I'm sure we'll have more videos before then. But guys, love to have both of y'all on again. Paul, thank you so much, man. Shane, thank you. I know to take this time out of your day, guys, and talk about arm wrestling. Tell your families thank you. Paul, tell the wife thank you.
Welcome.
I appreciate the time, fellas, for real. And I look forward to the match. Look forward to seeing everybody and looking to be entertained. I know it's going to be great.
Hey, Shane.
What's up, Paul?
Thank you. I just looking forward to the match, buddy. And
Hey,
whatever happens is fine with me. I'm
Yeah.
okay with it, honestly.
I am too, but I'm gonna be a lot more okay with winning. So
I know you are, but you're young. You're young.
Yeah.
So I understand.
but I'm looking forward to it, man. It'll be a good time for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, whoever wins, come get it. I'm just kidding.
So run it.
Yeah.
Y'all be good, man.
It'll be
All
good.
right.
Your boy's going down, Paul.
All right. I got, yeah. Well, I was pulling with him the other day.
Hey,
I hope you're ready because he's ready.
I'm excited, man. I really am. I feel like mine and Joe's match is going to be a really entertaining match. I definitely am not sleeping on Joe. I am
Yeah,
fully
don't sleep
prepared
on
to come in there for a war. But
Yeah.
I just don't think I don't think he's got enough big boy draws on for me. I think it's just going to be. I think it's too much power, man.
That's
Donnie
more than-
Anderson wakes up ready.
You
What-
damn
what-
right.
You guys
Hey,
in
I'm
South
hot and ready like a Little Caesar's pizza all the time.
Yeah, you guys in South Carolina really can talk. I swear, you guys.
Hey,
We can arm
talk,
wrestle too.
talk, walk
We
the
can arm
walk.
wrestle too. I
We're
promise.
gonna
Yes,
find
sir.
out. We're gonna find out.
Yeah, Paul.
Find out.
We're gonna find out.
Guys, I appreciate it. I hope y'all have a good evening.
All right.
Like,
All right.
again, thank you for the time, fellas.
I gotta go back to work. My work phone's just calling me.
There we go. Hey,
All right,
perfect
y'all be
time.
good.
I'll
Have
see
a
you
good
later.
night, guys.
Yeah.
Hey!
All right. Goodbye.
Later, bud.
Later. Appreciate it.